take it.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli. Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli. Good morning, Mr. Zhongli. Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Good morning, Mr. Zhongli.
Okay, today I will tell you all about the story of Peter Pan. Keep silent and listen carefully. The Darlings are living together with their 3 children at the home number 14. They have a girl named Wendy and 2 sons, John and Michael. While Mrs. Darling takes care of children and tells them fairy tales, her husband's role is to provide them a warm home, clothes and a sense of good manners, asking them to behave themselves in a more civilized way than the rest of the children. As an additional way for keeping things in order, the Darlings are hiring a nanny as well, who is taking care of children, changing their clothes and keeping them clean. That wouldn't be considered as odd if the nanny isn't called Nana, and actually is a dog. Besides Nana, Darlings also had a housekeeper, Lisa, for help around the housework. They were living in perfect harmony until one day, a boy with an interesting name appeared. It was Peter Pan. Peter Pan really was quite an unusual boy who was visiting the nursery every night, playing the flute. Mrs. Darling didn't believe the children, considering the story as a product of Wendy's imagination, until one night she saw the boy and Nana jumped and caught his shadow. He ran away through the window, and the upset mother put the shadow away in one of the children's room drawers. One evening the Darlings had to go out, so Mom closed the windows tight, and Dad tied Nana in the yard because of some earlier misunderstandings. After the children fell asleep, Fairy Tinker Bell entered the room, followed by Peter Pan, who immediately started a search for his missing shadow. He found the shadow in the drawer, but at that very moment, Wendy woke up. Seeing Peter Pan didn't frighten her at all, so she stitched his shadow back onto him. She found out all about Peter's escape from his parents and his life as a leader of the Lost Boys in Neverland. When John and Michael woke up, Peter Pan taught them how to fly, so they made a deal to visit the Neverland together. Returning from the dinner, Mr. and Mrs. Darling found their children flying around, and Dad realized he shouldn't have tied a Nana in the yard. When Wendy and her brothers arrived in Neverland, they were completely amazed by its beauty. They noticed a pirate ship owned by Captain Hook, Peter Pan's archenemy, who had to replace his fist with a hook after he lost it in one of their battles. As they came closer to the ship, pirates started a cannon fire, and Tinker Bell was the first one who landed on the ground. Tinker Bell spotted the Lost Boys and told them not to shoot at Wendy. Toothless shot Wendy directly in her stomach, so she fell. Peter arrived so mad that he wanted to kill the Toothless, but luckily for him, Wendy survived. Lost Boys took good care of Wendy, making her feel comfortable by building her a house. She was like a mother to them, taking care of their hygiene, health and nutrition. Tinker Bell was becoming more and more jealous, waiting for the opportunity to hurt Wendy. Pirates somehow managed to sneak their way to Wendy's house and attack and capture some of the Lost Boys and Wendy as well. They took them to the pirate ship and prepared their execution. Wendy acted brave, refusing their proposals to step on their side as their lady. Peter Pan remained free, but Captain Hook put some poison in his glass while he was sleeping. When he tried to drink the poison, Fairy Tinker Bell arrived, saving him at the last moment. Peter Pan arrived to save Wendy, her brothers and the rest of the Lost Boys. The final battle between Peter Pan and Captain Hook took place, appearing unresolved until Peter pushed Captain Hook from the boat, so he ended in the jaws of the crocodile. After the great victory over the pirates, Peter Pan and the Lost Boys became the masters of the island, enjoying the carefree life. Suddenly, a moment came for Wendy and her brothers to return back to their parents, who were waiting for them. Seeing them asleep, Mother Darling first thought that she is dreaming, but at their own fortune, everything was real. Soon after that, the 6 of the Lost Boys appeared and the Darling family decided to adopt all of them. Despite everything, Peter Pan wanted to stay a boy and never to grow up. He returned with Tinker Bell back to the Neverland. As years were passing by, Wendy grew up and became a mother of a little girl, Jane. She often talked to her about her adventures until one night Peter Pan appeared and took Jane to the Neverland as well. Wendy was sad because she, as an adult, couldn't go. The end.
Good story, Mr. Zhongli.
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 Good story, Mr. Zhongli.